What's up, guys? This is my Geography State channel, and now we hit Maryland, finally. So Maryland is a state in eastern U.S. bordering many states. It borders Pennsylvania to the north, Delaware to the east, and Virginia to the south, and West Virginia all the way in the west. The capital is Annapolis, and it sits right here. It sits right on the Severn River and on the Whiteon Bay and the Severn River. Annapolis is the state capital of Maryland, and in Annapolis you can also find the Maryland State House. And Annapolis also has another city bordering it named Parole. Parole is a place in Annapolis, technically. Maryland has a total of 23 counties, the largest one being Frederick, and the second largest one being Montgomery. The county that Annapolis is in is Anne Arundel. And in Anne Arundel, you can find Annapolis and Sandy Point State Park. Sandy Point State Park is a beach right on the Chesapeake Bay, and especially right on the Bay Bridge, the biggest bridge in Maryland. And the Chesapeake Bay. The Chesapeake Bay is a bay in Maryland, and the bay is also shared with Virginia too. And over here, you can find the Oceancocheek Bay. The Oceancocheek Bay is a bay in Maryland, which shares with Virginia. And there's a little city in Virginia called Oceancocheek. It's almost like saying Shankoteek. And the 23 counties of Maryland are here. The capital of Worcester County happens to be Ocean City. Now we're going to be talking about the major cities in Maryland. Maryland doesn't have too much major cities, but has beautiful cities, and we're going to talk about them. Ocean City is one big urban city, right on the Assateague Bay, and also next to the Rehoboth Bay in Delaware. And it touches the Atlantic Ocean to the east. And Ocean City is one of a big urban city in Maryland. The second is Baltimore up here. I'm sorry if you can't see, it's a little blurry. But Baltimore is one of the most biggest urban cities in the state after Annapolis. And Annapolis is also another urban city in the state. And up west, there's Hagerstown, Cumberland, and Frederick. Those are all the major cities. Salisbury is expanding, and it's really developing a lot. So it's not a major city, but it's a good city. Maryland was found in July 4th, 1776. It was found not too long after Delaware. Maryland is a very old state. Delaware is the first, and then Pennsylvania, and then Maryland, and then New Jersey. Those are the oldest states. But Maryland was found in July 4th, 1776. And we're going to show you the Maryland flag. So this is the Maryland flag. It's really beautiful, and I think it's really creative. And I like how they made the colors on this side. You can see it looks like a cross. The flag of Maryland, the official colors of Maryland are yellow, black, red, and white. Really nice if you ask me. Maryland's coastline with the Atlantic Ocean is pretty long if you ask me. Its coastline is stretching all the way from Delaware, all in the north, all the way down to Virginia right here. So they have a pretty long coastline if you ask me. Apparently, Maryland does not share the Delaware Bay. For some reason, people think Maryland shares with the Delaware Bay, but unfortunately it doesn't. It looks like it does on maps. For some reason, people think that, but it doesn't. Maryland has a very long coastline with so many states. It has a coastline on inland with Pennsylvania and Delaware. And Maryland also borders Washington, D.C., and same for Virginia, too. And here you can also find this river called the Potomac River. The Potomac River goes into Maryland. It's really small. And another river that goes into Maryland is the Anasokwesa River, which also goes into Maryland, and it goes into Prince George's County. Washington, D.C. is really close to Maryland, so if you want to drive to, for example, Salisbury, Annapolis, Baltimore, Frederick, it's not going to be that long. You could even drive to Harrisburg to Washington, D.C., and it'd be like driving from Salisbury all the way to Norfolk. And now we're going to be talking about rivers. Maryland obviously has a lot of rivers, so we're going to talk about them. So the first one we're going to start is going to be in Wicomico County. And this one happens to be the Wicomico River. They named this river Wicomico River after the county of Wicomico County. The Wicomico River stretches all the way. It connects with the Nanticoke River and the Fishing Bay. It stretches all the way. It stretches from Salisbury, and then it connects into the Chesapeake Bay. So it's a pretty long river. And it's not really used for water source much because the river it's clean, but it's dirty kind of. The Wicomico River stretches all the way from the Chesapeake Bay, connecting with the Nanticoke River next to Vienna, and then it stretches all the way from Vienna all the way to Parisonburg. It's a very long river, and it's a major river. If you go to Salisbury, you're at least going to see the river several of times because it's like it stretches along the city. You're going to see it at least once. And then up north, like I was talking, we have the Nanticoke River. And the Nanticoke River is a river in Maryland connecting with Delaware too. And then it connects with the city called Cambridge. When you go into Cambridge, you meet the Choptank and the Nanticoke River. The Nanticoke River connects with the Chesapeake Bay up in the east. And then as you can see here, it goes into Delaware, and then it goes into one of Delaware's cities, Seaford. And if you go to Seaford, you're at least going to see the Nanticoke River a couple of times. And then there's the Choptank River. They named this river after the little neighborhood town called Choptank. Choptank is a river connecting from the Chesapeake Bay all the way, almost connecting to Delaware, stretching of northern Maryland, and then dropping into the Chesapeake Bay again. And then it goes through several counties. The Wicomico River does not go into any other counties other than Wicomico County. Worcester County, they don't have that many rivers, but they do have one river called the Pomoke River. The Pomoke River is that they named the river after the city called Pomoke City. And then and if you ever go to Pomoke City, you're definitely going to see the Pomoke River. The Pomoke River looks exactly the same as the Wicomico River. Look, let me show you. If you really look at it, it looks like the Nanticoke River, and it also looks like the Pomoke River. It's not really that interesting, but it is really nice. So Maryland has lots of rivers, and then right here, if you look at here, this is called the Panoux River. The Panoux River is a river in central Maryland, connecting with Washington, D.C., and going into Upper Marlboro. And it also connects with Bowie. Bowie is like a little town in like central Maryland in Prince George's County next to Washington. Prince George's County borders Washington, D.C., and I think it also borders Virginia too. Now, some people have some questions about Baltimore. And when I mean Baltimore, I'm not talking about the county Baltimore. I'm talking about the city Baltimore. Because people have been thinking, is Baltimore a city or is it a county? You're probably wondering because there's a city called Frederick, and there's a county called Frederick. But Baltimore, is it a county or is it a city? Baltimore is not in any the answer to your question, Baltimore is not in any county in Maryland. It's its own city. It's not, but it connects with Baltimore County, and it also connects with Prince George's County, and it also connects with Anne Arundel County, but it's its own city. It doesn't connect with any counties, so Baltimore is not a county at all. But there is a county called Baltimore County. That is a county, but Baltimore City isn't a county at all. And Baltimore is one of the biggest urban cities in Maryland, but Baltimore does have a high reputation of being dangerous because Baltimore, and when people go to Baltimore, they show you the good side of Maryland, but in Baltimore, there's lots of hoods, and I would know because I've been to Baltimore 2 times, even though you might think that's not a lot. I've been there, I saw all the hoods, people. It's not really that good, but the city is really nice. If you go look at downtown, it's really beautiful, and you should go on and if you go, you should go on the boat on the Patapsco River. This river is on Baltimore. So that's it for Maryland. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and in the next video is going to be about Pennsylvania. Bye now.